Hey, what's poppin'? I'm Grace Cavadlo, and welcome to another edition of Diesel Discourse. Today, my guest is Beth Andrews. Beth is a fellow PCC team leader, a senior RKC, and owner of Train Strong Gym in Cartersville, Georgia. What's poppin', Beth?
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm so excited to be interviewed by you today.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for accepting. I mean, you are such a diesel woman, and I just wanted to showcase how awesome you are. So, I mean, you've done so many feats of strength, from being able to do a ring muscle up all the way to the Maiden challenge. Can you tell us which one was your biggest accomplishment out of all your feats of strength? Which is the one you're most proud of?
I think the ring muscle up was a little more exciting because it was unexpected when I did it for the first time. Whereas Iron Maiden, I trained for a long time for it. I actually missed my press the first time I tested it. So I made damn sure when I went back I could do the lifts a couple of times.
Awesome.
So, there was a sense of, I got this when unless something just crazy happened. So I felt like I had Iron Maiden when I went and tested the second time. So I think the muscle up was exciting because it was all the strength that I had built from training for Iron Maiden,
Nice.
So probably the muscle up, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. The Iron Maiden, exactly. It's a press, a pistol, and a pull-up with a 24-kilogram kettlebell. Is that right? 53 pounds?
Exactly.
Wow.
So obviously the strength from the weighted pull-up carries over into the muscle up, right? So, yeah.
Totally. And then just like randomly, did you start training for the muscle up, or was it kind of like a planned thing? You were just kind of like, you said it was unexpected. You just tried it one day and you were like, oh my God, I can do it.
No. I sort of become obsessed with things
I love
that I want to do or accomplish, like the one arm push up and things like that. And then I just go head first into it. And I just really had not worked on the rings before. So I, actually talked to Matt Shank about it because I had, watched him do a muscle up on the rings. And I was like, look, I really want to learn how to do this. I just don't even know how to maneuver these things around, So, he helped me, just showed me a little bit of what to do with my hands, and there it was, So it did take me a while to be able to do multiples, though, because it's one thing to do false grip one time, but to try to figure out how to maintain that, that took me a while, to figure out how to do that. I think as coaches, we all have to seek out, coaches that can help us with things. So,
Totally.
But yeah.
Well, you've been in the fitness industry for a while now. What was it that kind of got you started into it? You were strength training before, and then you just kind of got into it?
Well, actually, I started training, I was about 16.
Oh, wow.
And I started following all of the bodybuilding, magazines, and Corey Everson. I don't even know if you know who that is, but she was huge in bodybuilding, and I just wanted to be like her. So I started training and just fell in love with it. And then I ended up hiring a trainer who is now my husband.
Oh, what? That is so romantic.
I mean, what else was I going to do but train people? It just gave me a lot of confidence. There's just, feeling strong is just like one of the best feelings, and everything leading up to that was what made me want to, get involved in sharing it with other people.
Awesome. And how did you come across kettlebell training and RKC and everything like that?
It was probably about 7 years maybe. And actually, it was a friend, and my husband knew him, and he said, hey, we've got this magazine that's got these kettlebells in it, or whatever. And I was just like, it's just another tool. There's all kinds of things out there, there's nothing new or whatever. And then my husband kept researching, and he's like, I think there's something to these things, So we ordered a video and a book, and here I am now. So
That's awesome. So do you and your husband, you guys both run the gym together?
Pretty much, I'm the one who's there. He's a chiropractor, so he does a lot of that stuff. But he definitely is a part of the gym. He trains athletes in there. does his chiropractic adjustments in there, taping, all that stuff. So, I mean, so definitely we're in all of this together.
I love it. I love it. Teamwork, man. The ultimate team. And I also sometimes I think I've seen videos of you training with your daughter as well and your son.
Uh-huh.
So how did that get started? Did they just get curious about training with you, or did you have to kind of like force them to do it?
I think, it's just been such a huge part of our lives, and I probably when they were 8 and 11, that was when we put a gym in the house.
Nice.
And they just wanted to play. They always wanted to be around us when we were training, and I would let them come in, never put any pressure. I let them play. They could do what they want, and then as they got a little bit older, they would want to, come in, make up their own workouts. And so it was just always just a fun thing, no pressure. So
I love it. I love it. Are there any specific goals you're currently training for?
I want to be able to do a just freestanding handstand, no fear.
Sure.
It's the fear of it, for me. So I can kick up and find it every now and then, and I'm slowly getting over the fear. I would love to conquer the bar muscle up. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. I think there's a huge difference in sort of going between rings versus up and around a bar.
Totally.
So probably, long-term bar muscle up. Right now I'm working on my handstand. So, and I'm sure, that's one of those things that will just continue to evolve. It's never ending. So
Totally. That's awesome. Yeah, we obviously have similar goals, bar muscle up and the handstand. But I think I try to throw myself into a handstand like more than any other. Like that's where I think got me over the fear was like constantly just being like a handstand a day. I'm just going to throw myself into it and then just kind of walk away from it. Kind of like greasing the groove, but like handstand style, And,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then again, just like learning how to fall out of it was a big one. I took a workshop with Kirsty Grossart, and she talked about like pirouetting out of the handstand. So doing like a cartwheel, like getting really good at cartwheels, and then that's how you kind of fall out of the handstand like gracefully, I guess, per se, or whatever. But you were at the first PCC ever. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience? What was it like?
First off, it was refreshing. It was one of the first certification / workshops really that I had attended where it was fun. It wasn't rigid. There was a lot of camaraderie and cheering each other on. I think it was such a huge experience because it changed, I think, just my whole perspective on training. Yeah. Like I said, coming from sort of more rigid background with, the workshops, and even in my own training, I was that way, and I think it just really opened my mind, that you can just have fun with training. It's okay, that kind of stuff. So, but it was an amazing weekend. I don't think I've ever had that much fun.
Wow.
In at a certification, it was just fun that, connecting with people, cheering them on.
Very cool. Did you get any PRs that weekend that you had never done before?
I did a lot of things I had never done before that weekend, and that was part of what was fun too. I tend to be just this and do this pattern or whatever, and it was just like, holy cow, there were just so many things. I do remember doing a skin the cat on the bar.
Nice.
And being afraid, actually, because I was going upside down and I'd never done that before. Something about the upside down, that and handstands for me, which I've conquered the skin the cat fear. But yeah, that was one of the things that really stands out was that one,
I noticed you also work a lot of mobility in your training as well. Like I love the drills that you do with the Cossack squats, like really side to side.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. So you've attended and taught at a lot of different workshops over the years. Are there any that stand out as having been exceptional or involving any unique circumstances?
I think for me, I would really just have to go back to the PCC.
Nice. Nice.
Just because the experience was so incredible that weekend, I tried and did so many things that I didn't think I could do, so, and just like I said, just the way it changed me as a leader and the way I teach my workshops, even in my own training, just to lighten up a little bit, have a good time, play a little bit more. So yeah, I think I would have to just pretty much stick with the PCC.
I love it. That's a good answer. You think it's pretty much evolved? I know since you've been to subsequent PCTs after, do you think it's evolving in that same general direction? Has it changed a little bit, or it's still about the same?
Well, I definitely, I think everything gets better with time, because I think, you learn how to make the workshops better.
Yeah.
Because we get feedback, from the participants. But I definitely think it's just evolved. I mean, my goodness, it's like all over the world, and with Danny and Al leading it, I mean, they're such just positive, knowledgeable, cool people. How could it not be that way? I mean, so yeah, I definitely think it's evolved.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get any PRs that weekend that you had never done before?
I did a lot of things I had never done before that weekend, and that was part of what was fun too.
So I find that most of my clients happen to be women. Do you also find the same thing too, or you have an even amount of female and male clients in your business? When I started out, it was all females, and then it's evolved to where it's pretty much even. But in my gym, I have probably more females. With the online training, it's equal pretty much, with the male-female. So right on. Are there any specific clients that stand out, like a goal that somebody achieved that you were like really, really proud of them for doing? Like anybody, maybe a woman getting her first pull-up, or somebody being able to move better? Is there one that really stands out in your memory as being particularly memorable?
I have a guy who had shoulder surgery, and he tore his shoulder in a couple of places.
Oh, wow.
And when he came into me, he couldn't raise his arm up over his head.
Wow.
And, and he said he didn't want to be strong. He didn't care anything about that. He just wanted to feel better. So, I always, I'm kind of like have this little grin on my face, like, okay, you don't want to be strong and whatever, So we, and it took about 7 to 8 months, and he got his first chin up.
Wow.
He also can get his arm over his head. He's doing push-ups, so he's gotten a lot stronger. He's totally addicted. I have him doing, face-the-wall handstands in his hotel room. Anyways, he's just all into it now, and I just love that part of my job, So where it literally changes somebody's life, where, I mean, he can move better with his job and his family and all that. So I think that would probably have to be the one.
I love that one. That's a sign of a good coach, man. You're amazing. That's great. I love that story. You have an SCC coming up at your gym. Can you tell us just all the details for that?
Yeah, so it's the first one in Georgia. So yeah. I'm really excited about it.
That's exciting. So it's a combo. Yeah. It's HKC and SCC, right?
Yeah, so it'll be a full weekend, but you don't have to take both. You can choose, or you can take both. I mean, there's discounts if you sign up.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that because it's not too far away.
No, and you're going to be teaching both, right? The HKC and the SCC. Very, very cool. Beyond Dragon Door workshops, do you also do workshops of your own?
Yes, I have a Move Strong, Train Strong workshop, and that's actually one that my husband and I are doing together. We have one coming up, and it's all about movement, training, how to put the mobility drills into a program for somebody, like for the man that I was talking about who could get his arm over his head,
Totally. Is it a one day or is it a weekend thing?
It's a one day.
Right on.
Yeah, so he has the morning, and then I have the afternoon. So, yeah, so he's doing more of the movement part, and the soft tissue and all that, and then I'll be doing a lot of the exercise, the Cossack, some things that I do, that will increase mobility, and then the programming, of course, at the end. So,
Very cool. That is so awesome. I love it. Are there any people that you have on your radar that you look to for inspiration?
We all can learn from each other, and I think especially the women, in PCC, the RKC, you know, our conference was awesome. There was a lot of women speakers. So it was just really cool, you know, to learn from them over the weekend, you know. So, and I'm going to use your tip. I'm going to do like one kick up and handstand a day, you know, just one time to get over my fear.
So, yeah, I guess I'm just going to wrap it up. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. You know, I know that I'm really excited to post this because you are definitely one of my inspirations. And I want to thank everybody else for tuning in. Till next time, peace, love, and ninja kicks.
Thanks, Grace.
You're welcome. Thank you.